Well, hello, beautiful people. How are you? Hello. Please let's welcome Tina from the Aftermath.
Hello,
Please go check
everyone.
on, go subscribe to her channel. Let me just turn this down because for some reason, I don't know how to, I don't, how do you say, I don't know how to manage stuff. So I have to go with you here. Here we go. Okay, now what do I do here? I need to see. Uh, Here we go. So, hello, beautiful people. Hello, Tina. Hello, thanks for being here. Can you hear me just fine?
Me? Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes,
Can you
yes,
hear
yes.
me?
Yes, I can hear you
Yeah.
absolutely fine. I apologize if I look like a mess because, guys, you'll find out the day after tomorrow. I was trying to. Greetings from Saskatchewan. Thank you. um, I was trying to travel somewhere, so there's a little bit of a hiccup, but hopefully everything should be fine. So how are you today?
I'm good. I'm good. I've not, yeah, just been catching up on stuff and getting myself sorted today. And yeah, I watched, who are they? I sent you that video. Um, the body language, they're four people, the experts. What are they? Behavioral experts about the Netflix series. And it was like, they are so good.
Yeah, which one? Oh, what were they saying?
They were just literally scene for scene pointing out all the irony for one, and all the untruths that they picked up in their expert opinion, all four of them, and basically said that only one throughout the whole episode that they watched that was bringing genuine emotion was the niece, Samantha's daughter.
Oh, you mean Harry and Meghan's?
Yeah, the Harry and Meghan's Netflix show that was. So
Wow.
the behavior panel, I think they are on YouTube. So that was very interesting. And just doing mom life, you know how it is, dance class and all of that. So
Yeah, the behavior panel also were kind of nasty with the Markles when they examined the Markle family did an interview with Australia
oh,
TV or
okay.
something. Yeah, something like that. And they call them rednecks and they portray them as uneducated.
Did they?
And
I haven't watched that one yet. The
well,
two
I'll
I've
send it
watched.
to you. Samantha and I react. I did a live with Samantha and she reacted to that because they literally called them rednecks.
Oh wow.
In spite of the fact that they're all highly educated, they live in
Hmm.
California. Does that mean that Megan is a redneck too?
Hmm.
So it's
No, just the bits that I've seen are just pointing out the stress value that would have been caused on Thomas Markle may have caused, what we've seen roll out. So there is, I suppose, what I like about them is they are, that they will call Harry and Meghan out.
Yeah, I like Chase a lot because Chase actually
Chase.
stuck up for them.
Yeah.
In that interview, I'll send you the interview. You'd be appalled because you can clearly see the other three
Mm-hmm.
completely trashing them. And actually, they're supposed to not talk about their character. They're just supposed to, how they always tell you, we're not here to
Yeah, the
judge.
body language. Yeah.
They call
Wow.
them, the other three call them names, all these rednecks. They don't even know because if
No.
you're going to judge people, if you're going to be an expert, you need to know a little bit about the background of the person because
Yeah.
otherwise it's pointless what you're doing. You don't know why they're reacting that way. They didn't know that Samantha has a master's in education. They didn't know any of that. So they were, like, it was pretty awful. And Chase is the only one who kept saying they are reacting because of what's happening to them.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well,
then he
I
told
think it was Chase who stood out for me. Chase was very much, that in the bits I've watched. But definitely send that to me because it'd be interesting to see. See, the thing is with me, I'm just giving a human opinion over what I've experienced. I'm no expert. I'm just giving my take on what I feel upon watching it all.
yeah,
Um,
yeah. And I mean, it's incredible how Meghan Markle, in spite of not having a sister, because remember, she's an only child. right? She's an only child. Yet she managed to track down a niece in spite of the fact that she doesn't have a sister. And actually the only reason why she was able to get in touch with Ashley was because Samantha gave her email and her contact details. Because Samantha thought they're about the same age, so they can forge a bond and everything.
You know what I find about that, the connections to the AH court case, in the fact she fell out with all these mates and they hadn't heard from her until 6 weeks before that court case. Then she asked the one for a glass of wine, and all of a sudden he was in the stand sort of giving evidence. And it's like, it almost is like she plucked the niece out just to show her on Netflix to damage. That's it. There was so many similarities. Pardon?
She basically pitted the mother against the daughter.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're aware of this. Samantha has done a few lives with me, and in one of the lives, they talk about Meghan's first or second wedding prior to Harry's, right? Which was in Jamaica.
Yeah.
Right. And actually Samantha couldn't go because of the wheelchair, and her illness. It's hard for her to be at the beach and stuff like that. And Meghan was telling Ashley that how much her mother must have loved her in order to give her up or to be raised by her grandparents. It's not like she gave him up to strangers or anything like that. What a sacrifice her mother had made for her. And here we have her pitting her against her mother because she chose not to invite Ashley to the wedding. Nobody at the palace told her what to do or not to do. She chose not to invite her, but she's putting Ashley there to blame Samantha.
Oh, absolutely. And in that moment with Netflix, she needed that, didn't she? She needed that. It didn't matter. And that's what you see. I don't know if you see, I done a post the other day where she's on a red carpet event in the interviewer, he's got cards, man on the red carpet, he's doing interviews, and she can see he's looking over his shoulder to see who's next because that's his job. And she then sort of stands there berating him because you can see, from my opinion, my perspective, you can see she's absolutely the horror that he's not giving all his time for me, he's out for the next. And she berates him, she takes the cards off of him, starts mocking his handwriting until the point where he gives her all the attention she needs. Then she's like, thank you. And off she goes. And it's like, she will, in watching her, it's like she will stop at nothing. Then as soon as she gets that bit of praise, it don't matter how she's got it. It doesn't matter how she gets it, That's what I see in watching what they've paid to project into our homes. So, yeah. I don't know.
Today I did a video about wording, how wording is very important, and why Harry and Meghan Markle are allowed to continue to harm people. You know how Harry walked back and said that Meghan never. When did Meghan say that the royal family was racist? Just pinpoint it, like saying, when did Meghan say they were racist? Remember? And remember Tom Bradley going, well, she said that there were concerns. Yeah, exactly, concerns. But when, where does she say they were racist? Right? And I did a video right after that thing on Oprah. And I said that the reason why Oprah and Meghan were doing that little dance of words is because later on they wanted to be able to deny it, to say plausible deniability. We never really said they were racist. We just said that there were concerns. And then Meghan says, if you say so, because she didn't want to say yes. She's like, and Oprah didn't want to say anything. It was like a volleyball. I have that video, I posted it. I was still in Norway at the time because I said later on they're going to walk this back. Later on, and sure enough, 2 years later, we have Harry saying, when did Meghan say that they were that they were racist? When? It's like almost aggressively, almost laughing,
I done a post too, and it was about how Harry, my words were, gaslit the night, and how he, with Tom Bradbury in that interview, you could see him sort of take it, gritted teeth, sort of come, like almost started interviewing Tom Bradbury in that moment to jumble his head up. And it was just shocking, and everyone, majority was sat alone going, what are you actually saying this? Even Tom, was like trying to say, well, actually, but he took all his words and just put them back at him. He sort of took over that whole interview in that moment, Harry did, in quite a forceful way, in my opinion.
Aggressive, very aggressive.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny? Because if they didn't think it was racist, why would they have Oprah the very next day say it wasn't the Queen of Prince Philip?
Yeah.
We're the racist.
They accepted an award for
yes, and she went and dressed the dress that she wore on stage at the how do you call it, the whatever it was, the Project Healthy Minds. It's pretty much the same one that she wore on that stage when they accepted that night the award for fighting racism within the monarchy. It wasn't fighting racism in the world. It was to fight for fighting institutional racism inside the monarchy. That's why they got that award.
Yeah. And they accepted that. And that's why a lot of people can't let this go. And it's hard to watch on, especially people like you, like me, who have watched, you know, I done that post today when my first, you know, people, if you are subscribed to me, I'm very emotive. I should come with a trigger warning, just me, trigger warning. But someone sort of said, I don't know how, like some people don't have parents like that. Like it's a hard watch to watch on, as you know, Thomas Mark. There is a reality to this, you know, that he's not a weekend dad. He's not a dad that's turned up out the blue. He's been there her whole life, and yeah, the damage those two, and it's hard to let go of the injustice that you're watching in front of you, especially when they're being surrounded by all these people that just ignore the silence. We carry on, even though everyone on that stage must be thinking, surely they've got to have a difference of opinion on what, you know, it's crazy. But Harry and Meghan will always, I suppose, be a wanted in certain circles because of his links to the royal family.
Yeah, but this is actually what I told you I wanted to talk to you about, because it's this aftermath that happens because well, we've seen, you know, we have a group chat, guys, you know, and Samantha Markle is part of that group chat. I get down sometimes, you know, Samantha Markle gets down because this is never ending. This is never ending. You know, I don't hear people ever asking her, Meghan, how is your father? How can you do this to your disabled sister? Why did you lie about this here? And we constantly, Samantha constantly are questioned all the time. You know, why don't you answer those questions? You know, they asked Samantha about Meghan Markle's children. Why don't they ask that to Meghan Markle?
Mm-hmm.
When Carson Daly was talking about mental health, say, how's your father, Meghan? I heard that he had 2 strokes and 2 heart attacks and a stroke. How is he doing?
Mm-hmm.
You know, why did you lie? Why, you know, why all the people that come into my channel and they come in like, you have no, because you're going to see now that you're going to be, you're starting more with your YouTube. You're going to get a lot of people hating, and you're going to get a lot of people asking you questions. Why don't they go and ask those questions? Instead, they get pandered to.
Yeah.
And
I think that's the hardest watch. No one else would get away with doing, well, people do get away with it, and that's the sad reality. And that's the silence that is around. People don't want to get their hands dirty. They don't want to get involved. They don't want to ruin their career. And all I would say, you know, my post this morning was when I see, you know, Samantha, and it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking that they've been placed in a goldfish bowl with the world looking in and judging them. But God forbid they stand out and actually do what Harry and Meghan's doing, because they are just being pulverized. Because that's wrong. Yet we've got these two speaking on mental health without any even care for the mental health that the obliteration of people that have probably suffered. William, Catherine, Thomas Markle Jr., Samantha, Thomas Markle himself. I just can't even imagine. And that's what my post this morning was inspired by, Sam, because I was just like, I can't even, going for abuse, like, you know, Paula, like, to be silenced and to not be heard, it's sort of the same. They're going through the same. And the minute they step out, that they can't, it's just wrong.
Yeah, but the thing is, though, for example, nobody, and it's so frustrating when I get those questions. Where was Doria? Why don't you ask the Markles where was Doria? Why don't you go ask Doria where was she? Why don't you ask Megan where was she? Why don't you ask Harry why is he behaving like that towards his wife's family, entire family, black and white? So everybody comes and attacks the Markles for questions that should be asked to other people.
Yeah.
And they have, and this has a horrible impact on mental health, because Samantha gets down, Thomas Markle gets down. People don't really see that, and it's quite frustrating. Like for me, it's been 10 years and I'm still dealing with that. I'm still dealing with that. I mean, I am still dealing with this. It never goes away because it's on the internet. You will always get idiots who will say, oh, well, if there was smoke, there was fire. No, sometimes the smoke was created or placed there and there was never any fire. But you deal with that for the rest of your life because unfortunately now it happens when there's internet. Samantha Markle, Thomas Markle, and Mr. Markle will always, always be prosecuted, while Doria is attending Jeff Bezos or whatever thing with the Kardashians taking pictures. There's no aftermath for them yet. And it really upsets me when people comment, when Thomas Markle, Samantha Markle, or Mr. Markle put themselves out there and they don't have pre-asked, you know that. They don't have any, you can't answer this or this. They don't.
No.
They literally come and they answer any questions.
Yeah.
Meghan Markle and Harry will only go to, Tom Bradby, he was such a pussy. He just stood there and I said, dude, where was his journalistic integrity?
But that's the thing. These people, Tom Bradbury or anyone that interviews Harry and Meghan, they just want the interview, don't they? They want to be the face of the person that has that interview. Oprah probably could have delved further, but she never. There's this, in my opinion, watching on, that there's this censorship over to protect whatever's the truth that we all think we see, in what we watch roll out. There is this protection. And when you say about 10 years, I've spoken to my sister tonight and I always speak about us being on the front pages. Now, sadly, when we came out, whilst we were in the domestic violence and my sister got a bit older, vulnerable because of all the damage and abuse we have faced, like all of us, we wanted it out. And my sister's out, sadly, was within to another abuser, but this one was top-notch next step, which built up to a stabbing and hostage situation, a kidnapping of her daughter, and it all went to Crown Court. But prior to it getting to that point, there was car bombings on our drive. It was harassment to the highest degree, phone calls through the night. It went on and on and on, and it all ended up to this stabbing. Luckily, the person survived, but 27 years later, because it hit the newspapers and they dramatized the story like they do, and only last year, I was in the shop and across the front page again was this headline of the day this happened, because the newspaper just had nothing to print that week, so they went on the history. And I had to ring, literally my heart skipped a beat. And I had to ring my sister and be like, it's on the front page. And she had to then go into work, recover it again and explain this is, and it's just awful, the damage that people like your story, 10 years on, my sister 27, there don't seem to be any justice for the victims.
No, and we are the evil person. People feel sorry for my ex-husband. And, there's no sympathy for my son that his childhood was taken away, nor me. All the years I went through, it's like, why do you want justice now? Why? I'm 54. I'm going to be 55. I'm still going. I still have to go to Norway. I was supposed to be going to Norway today, but something came up with one of my passports, and I could take on the flight right now, but I'm still dealing with this. And, for him, and this is why I get so angered by this, because for him, his life has never stopped one day He still has his job. He's been promoted. He's been flying all over the world while I've been struggling with all the court cases that he threw at me, trying to provide for my son. I don't say it's his son because he never provided 1 cent for him, in spite of the fact that he went all over the world saying that he had been sent to jail because of child support, and that he paid all these money, which was proven in Norway during the trial to be false. But the articles are out there. So everybody put me like a money grabbing person who married this guy, and I'm like, they put me as though I was from Nicaragua. And it's so funny because I'm Canadian. So, but they didn't mention that. So they wanted to portray me as this third world woman who caught the white guy. And like, and it's still out there. And then they put me as a child trafficker and all kinds of things. It evolved. It just increased the things, it went from, it was insane. And I'm still dealing with this. My life, I can't get it back. It's 10 years of my life. I have lupus. The stress is worse, and nobody thinks of that. No. And the same thing for Samantha. You've seen the messages. I mean, they're heartbreaking. This is a disabled woman. So whenever people, and this is why I don't have Samantha, and she's taking a break from doing internet, because she always gets asked the same questions. Where was Doria? Well, go fucking ask Doria. Why don't you ask Megan, or anybody shout at Megan? Where was your mother? Where were you, Doria? Why are you riding, like the high wave?
And the reality is, you really need to ask, because the reality is she wasn't there. So, Thomas Markle was there. That's what we know. So I think people can create their own understanding to why, she could have been anywhere, but the reality is she wasn't there, which don't exactly paint a good. So just take that, isn't it?
Yeah. No, I mean, for you, what we have here is people never recover. Not now in this day and age. Because right now, for example, people Google me, they get really nasty negative, and you have to really dig for the article where it says that I won all the court cases. But what you first get is all these horrible articles about me. Yeah. So even getting a job or anything, that my job history was completely deleted from the internet.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, they literally deleted everything that was good about me, and they put it. And all these newspapers are horrible about that. And I can just feel, and this is just a jerk from Norway who is a high-ranking member of the Norwegian government. I feel terrible for Samantha and the Markle family, because this was done by by his daughter, by a sister. To his father, to a family.
Well, that's it. There are so many. For Thomas Markle, that's his daughter. His pride and joy, you can see that in the videos. Even her coming out, Daddy, and you can see that they had a connection at some point in their life. And then, you know what? In that, I see the part in the documentary where she had texted, and she shared these texts to her dad in the documentary, hasn't she? And she's love M and H, and it's like, none of it is natural, none of it is normal. And for Samantha, especially, to watch your dad suffer like that, and not being able to protect him or save him, and having to put yourself in the firing line, which she and Thomas have, to protect their dad. And she's having the onslaught as well, which is damaging her mental health. So you've got Thomas Markle, Samantha, Thomas Markle Jr., the dynamic in that family. And it's just, and these two sit on a stage speaking about mental health. And it's, the Queen on her deathbed. It's insanity that these two continue to be protected in the way they are. In this celebrity, do you know what? And the thing is, I think celebrity anyway, I believe post-COVID, people are just a bit whatever. Long were the days of cribs where we all wanted to look in their houses because we're all at home trying to save ours. So I just feel like there's no genuineness coming, and we can see it clear as day now. And we're sick and tired of this theatre in this show, when you can see, especially when they've chose to sell it all to us, the truth in what we see it. It's and when you see the damage that it's caused. And I think, you know, as far as Johnny Depp goes, he had the support of the people. He had the support. People who've got nothing to lose. That is coming from here, you know, and it's okay, Harry and Meghan having the support of all these elites, but it's not a genuine, and then move on to their next, I don't know, it's just wrong, isn't it?
Yeah. The thing is that what my video was about today is just like Harry walked back that racism thing, because Meghan never said it. If you look at this, I did my video today and I really urge people to go see it. And it's because now that they have failed, Harry and Meghan are basically a failure. They're coming back to the UK. There are plans being drawn to bring them back to the UK. You know, and what is it that people are going to say? Where does it say? I end my video asking people to point out, where does it say that they're no longer working royals? And I want to bring this out because people, for some reason, people who should know better are putting out very false information in regards to Harry and Meghan. Okay?
Okay.
So I think it's important for people to understand why language matters. Just like for Meghan and Oprah, when they did that dance of words that they did, Meghan never said, oh, yeah, they were racist. Well, are you telling me that they were concerned about the skin of your color? And, you know, it's like the race is like, and then Meghan, if that's what you want to assume, it's a safe assumption. Like they were such cowards, you know? So I'm going to show you something here. And I want people to please stop taking my word or anybody else's words just because this person should be a responsible reporter and should know better. Okay, because I hate it when people misguide, because then it makes my job harder, because then I get called all kinds of things like you're a liar, you don't know what you're talking about, because this person is a royal reporter. So let's go. Let's go here. The role of the royal family. I posted this in my video today. Members of the role of the royal family. Members of the royal family work together to support the king in his official in his official duties. We've done this, right, Tina?
Yeah.
Members of the royal family. Can you tell me if it says others anywhere near there?
No.
No.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah.
It says here, the Duke and Duchess have stepped back as senior members of the royal family. It doesn't say that they've quit as working members of the royal family, right? Because you can be a senior member, you can be not a senior member, but still be a working member of the royal family. Like some of them are. Some of these people that are current working members are not senior members. You know, they're like 50 or 69, I don't know, to the throne, right? They're balancing their time between the United Kingdom and North America, continuing to honor their duty to the king, the Commonwealth, and their patronages. If you don't know anything about Harry and Meghan, if you never heard of them, and you go to the royal website, what does that say to you? What would that imply to you?
They're part of the royal. Yeah, they've got 50-50, haven't they?
No, and then it goes, the biography goes here. This is Harry's biography. Okay? Their official residence, it's right here. Their official residence is Frogmore Cottage. This was changed less than a month ago. But as announced in January 2020, it's not that they're balancing their time anymore. The Duke and Duchess will spend the majority of time in North America, following their decision to step back as senior members of the royal family. What would you read that? I'm asking you because you're British. This is
being a bit for the royal family. I think the royal family are just given a token. I feel like it's easier for them to keep it like that. This is my opinion. In knowing the way, the stiff upper lip, and not entering into these games, this would only give more victimhood if they were to keep them off. This keeping them off and just being like, no, that would give the people what they wanted. But then the royal family are not going to enter into any more games with Harry and Meghan, and they're not going to give them anything else to feed off. So it doesn't matter if they're on there or not, because they have
does.
ruined their own
It does.
careers.
I'll tell you why it does. I'll tell you
Pardon?
why it does. I'm going to disagree with you there. I'll tell you
Okay.
why it does. Because this is why Harry and Meghan Markle are getting away with trashing people like Samantha Markle.
Yeah.
Because when people look at this, they say, shit, they're part of the royal family. We have to treat them with gloves, because if we want interviews with the other members of the royal family, or if we want to be in good graces with the other royal members of the royal family, we're not going to trash one of their own.
Yeah. But I just think the royal family, in the way they deem it to be, I'd say a majority of British people, if Harry and Meghan were to come back to the UK and start opening up community centres on Thursday in Slough, they will be booed by the majority. People will never forgive Harry, although they will carry sympathy. He's burned his bridges, in my opinion, with the majority. Yes, I think they'll be accepting of him coming back, possibly on his own or what have you, but they will never be able to do street walks or anything like that. I don't believe the royal family will not enter. It's frustrating, and Charles, it's his son, and Charles is not exactly the most strongest of people.
Yeah, but
and he's older.
Parliament is.
Pardon?
Parliament dictates.
Oh, absolutely. And actually, Charles can't do that, can they? It would have to come from Parliament. So, to be honest with you, it's the damage is done to Harry and Meghan. They've done their own damage. And I think the royal family know this. This is why they're staying stum. However, I totally understand what you're saying, as in that doesn't help Thomas Markle, Samantha Markle, and Thomas Markle Jr.
Neither they're monarchy, because people are going, okay, let me put it this way. It
will cause damage, I believe.
It has already.
Yeah, well, it already has, but it will. I think the longer this goes on, the people are not going to let this drop, the more Harry and Meghan step out and do this stuff. And I think slowly but surely it will take any strength out the monarchy, and the fact they're not standing strong and being, I feel like the biggest flex here would be for Charles to meet up with Thomas Markle, to show that solidarity in this moment. No, it wouldn't, I'm just saying, from back then, maybe if they'd embraced Thomas Markle and actually forced Harry and Meghan to go and sort this crap. But it's hard, isn't it? Because we're just, we're just having a conversation on what we think. And
but the entire world
is the royal family, so they're going to do what they want to do. Pardon?
The entire world is baffled why they're still on that website. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, if you work for a company, and let's say you work for Apple, and then you end up leaving Apple and trashing Apple as the CEO, okay? You go and do interviews trashing Apple, their brand, everything. Do you think that Apple would keep you on their website?
Absolutely not. But I also know, the reality is, what we can't deny is that Harry is Charles's son, and Harry, as victimhooded his life through Diana's death, which Charles gets a lot of stick for. So I feel like, if the Queen was still around, maybe more would have been done. I feel like she would say, not what I would do, what would the Queen do in this situation? But my opinion, I don't think Charles, at this age, he's got it in him. I don't know. I don't know.
To behave correctly, but Parliament should, because this is why the Queen was so respected. She didn't do what was popular. She did what was right.
Yeah.
She loved her sister. I mean, she loved her uncle, and he was told either or. But this and it escalated. It's like, I remember one of my favorite movies is Air Force One, and I remember that they're talking about terrorists, why you never negotiate with them, because it's like you give a mouse a cookie, he will come back for milk. Once he's got the milk, he will want. It's an endless cycle. Now, the correct thing and the right thing to do is, you know what? They wanted to leave. Wanted to leave. Let's leave, and if Megan had any integrity, she should have said to Harry, you know what? And especially when they did their Netflix thing and they talked about colonialism 2.0 and how evil they were. So why would they keep the titles? Why didn't Megan, this feminist, say, you know what, honey, let's go to the States with our thing. Let's call ourselves, I'd be Mrs. Mountbatten Windsor, or Rachel Meghan Markle, and leave the things. Let's make a clean break so we can start a new life elsewhere. No.
Absolutely. That's what we all...
Halfway in and halfway out. This is what I'm trying to tell you. In my video, I said today that the reason why people treat them with kid gloves is because they're still in that website. And people say, what if they come back? Because, if they come back, then the royal family are going to remember we were not nice to them. And this is why people like...
But I feel like, as much as whether it's on that website or not, because of what they've done, they will still be interested in Harry anyway, on what dirt he can dish on his family. No writing on a website. Yes, I hear what you say, the dignitaries and wanting because he's on that website. But I feel like at this point anyway, with what Harry and Meghan have done in front of our eyes, there will still be some interest in them because he can, and he has got the power to share more, which he's also threatened, didn't he? I can't remember what it was, the book deal, in how he could have wrote more. He's already got that in the back pocket ready,
Can't write anymore. Everybody knows. First of all, the first
no, but that's what he used.
Everybody knows that it was a misogynistic pig thing book. How he treats women, mounting women, making fun of the nice, kind matron who showed him, care.
I absolutely agree, but he has chucked that out there, hasn't he, as a safety, mechanism. The threats, like Meghan with, I was never made to sign an NDA, even though she goes around making kids sign them. But the thing is, the irony. But yeah, that's the thing with the British royal family. People are slowly getting frustrated with them. But it needs to come from government. We don't know what Harry and Meghan's going to do next. Are they just going to do little things like they're doing? Is there going to be any more bombshells? The thing is,
they're going to escalate.
The royal family,
escalate their lies. Their lies have to be escalated in order, because they have nothing else. Meghan wasn't in the monarchy for a long time. She has so many skeletons. I know of quite a few skeletons in Meghan's closet. But the problem is the wording of everything. Because when Harry and Meghan are brought back to the monarchy, Harry or people in the monarchy are going to say, where did we say that they weren't working for us? They just said that they stepped back as senior royals. Where did we say that they were not working members of the royal family? Where does it say that in the royal website? Can somebody, I left my video with that today. Can you please pinpoint me anywhere in the royal website where it says that Harry and Meghan are not working members of the royal family?
Yeah. So they.
As a victim, I'm going to ask you as a victim, when you were going to the police and everybody knew what was happening in your home and nobody was doing anything about it, and it's like, how did that make you feel?
Awful. I remember going with my sister. I was going to talk about my sister's story, which I have spoke to my sister before coming on tonight, because I'm not going to come out here and share my sister's trauma without having a conversation with her, because that's what normal siblings, family do, don't they? And I remember going to the police station with them when we were having this stalking. This is constant. And all we were told was to write a journal. And we were like, someone's going to get killed, there's nothing we could, hands are tied, there's nothing we can do until we got any proof. And it was just stuck, aren't you? You're stuck. Like, that's what I said in my post today. Samantha and Thomas, they can't move on from this because it's there, isn't it? It's frustrating. And when there's no help, there's no support, it's heartbreaking. Because you're stuck and you're trapped and no one hears your voice. But what I would say about Samantha Markle, the people are hearing their voice, hence why we're doing this now, and plenty of other YouTubers and you know, there is a big solidarity to them just from anyone that have got the basic moral compass of being family, who look on in horror at what Thomas Markle has faced as a father.
But they're still facing a lot of hatred, Tina.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something, we YouTubers, you're going to find out very soon,
Oh,
we
God.
get censored regularly.
Pardon?
We get censored regularly, YouTubers.
Yeah.
You know, whereas Meghan Markle and Harry, this is just YouTubers. I have less than 85,000 or 86,000 subscribers. I don't even have 100,000 subscribers. Whereas Harry and Meghan Markle get worldwide platform instantly.
Which could go for them or against them. And
But
largely.
they do, because look at all the media. Nobody's asking them. Oprah refused to give Meghan's father the opportunity to answer back. So he had to go to Australia 60 minutes. And then they still trash him. What kind of a father are you that you're speaking out against your daughter? It's like, excuse me? Instead of saying, what kind of a skanky daughter is that is treating her father that way?
No.
Because they have this huge machine. And the reason why they have this huge machine is because they have the royal family backing them. Yeah. If the king had come up and say, you know what? From now on, you can no longer use the royal titles for any of your ventures, only for royal activities, you know, which are none. So you have to go by Henry Mountbatten Windsor and Rachel Meghan Markle, or whatever the hell you want to call yourself. Let's not forget, she said that the queen didn't own the word royal as a response. If the king said, you know what, you have the titles, but can't use them in public or for any commercial ventures, only for royal engagements. Number one. And number two, remove them from the website. They're no longer royals. No explanation needed. You don't see Beatrice, Eugenie, Sarah Tyndall, Peter Phillips in that website.
Yeah. No, I understand, but I don't know what. We haven't got the power to do that, have we? You know.
Yes, we do. Actually, we do. This is what people don't understand, that there's a lot you can do. You can start a parliamentary petition. And as I've said to people, we can put that because, and this is, I mean, when you were a kid and you were going through everything you were going through, what would you have wanted people to do to help you?
Just hear
What would
me.
you have wanted people to do to help you? What would have helped you?
Just to acknowledge it, hear me, see it, do something about it, help us.
So do you think that if people had actually done that, do you think if the police had actually done that once or twice or three times or taken you seriously, do you think your life, your sister's, your brother's life would have been different?
Yeah. Well, yes, obviously, if they had come early doors and before all the damage was done. But the reality is, again, the police used to come. They did go and take him away, but they're stuck with red tape, aren't they? The rules that have set in place, you know, this, aren't they? You know,
no, actually,
yeah,
no.
You can start.
Police can act very harshly when they want to.
Yeah.
With my ex-husband, if I had opened my ex-husband's mail and distributed to everybody, I would have been sent to jail because that's illegal in Norway.
Yeah.
He did that. He withheld my mail. He opened it and he distributed it.
Yeah.
He gave away all my life's personal belongings. I went to the police. Have they done anything? And when I tell you all my personal belongings, I mean everything. Everything. Okay. If I had done that, I would have been sent to jail because there's double standard in Norway. You know, so for people who say there's no racism in Norway, they're usually the white Norwegians who say that. Or, you know, immigrants who are too afraid to speak out. But there is blatant, proud racism, xenophobia in Norway. They're very proud of it. And when you're in their country, I mean, it's a country that they have, that's the only country in the world, you know, that it has two words. You know, it's like you are either norsk, which is Norwegian, like me, you become a citizen, or you have an echte norsk, a real Norwegian, people who look like you, Tina.
Yeah.
It's the only country in the world that makes that difference. They ask you, are you norsk or are you echte norsk when they talk to you on the phone? Okay.
Wow.
So there is justice. The police, for example, if Megan calls and says somebody was harassing her kid, immediately action would be taken over. But because you were from a
Yeah,
poor
it's power
background,
though, isn't it? It's power.
yeah.
Power, you know, just like your ex and Harry and Meghan have got the biggest power. Like you said, this people like us don't get heard, and that's why people like us stand out here and speak up for people like Thomas Markle, because we know what it's like to not
Samantha
be
and
heard.
Thomas Markle.
Samantha Markle, we see that pain, you know, we have, that's what I said, you know, we're here for genuine, because we know what it's like to be and not have that power. And that's why the people won't let up when they see stuff like this, because it's an injustice. And we, you know, and I don't know what the answers are in all of this. All I would say is Harry and Meghan are out there damaging their own brand. Yes, they're on the stage, but are they really being heard? Are they really raising awareness? Are these charities really benefiting from them? It's about the race of, like, it's are anyone actually? No, they're not. They're a laughing stock to most.
Well,
And
that's what
I know that the
Tina,
impact.
that's what you and I think. But here you have Meghan Markle with the Surgeon General, with the husband of Kamala Harris. Where you have her with this other person, you have her with like Oprah, who's somebody very influential. And people nowadays, especially younger generation, they're not critical thinkers.
Yeah, but do you see Oprah loud and proud stood out with Meghan now? Do you see Gabor coming out? Although that interview he said about the British media, but is he saying how much he, you know, he's obviously trying to save himself, in my opinion, but at the same time, he's saying about how he thought it was wrong. People had to buy that book in order to watch, and has Harry framed it as mental health support. Yes, people jump in the moment because they want their profile lifted. And that's what I said. Although the people's voice don't get heard enough, at least it won't stop, you know. And obviously, I think, isn't there petitions out there already anyway? Haven't
Which
people
petition?
got petition? I'm sure there's probably petitions out there to get them off the
But they're
road.
not parliamentary petitions. And
Oh, not
already,
parliamentary, but
no,
yeah.
and people who did a petition, you know what they said? I actually did videos about this because people kept saying that it was up to Parliament to remove the titles, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I've actually done this. I posted the answer from Parliament is in black and white. It says that Parliament, excuse me, they have no control over royal titles. All royal titles, honors, dignities, and styles are entirely up to the monarch. It's in black and white because people did a petition, many petitions asking Parliament to remove Harry's title. But what people don't understand is that people can write to Parliament and say, we want now to legislate this too. We want to remove power. And I know there's a bill, but this is the House of Lords. Okay, this is not actual like proper bill or anything. That they have the House of Lords that they want, and they put that the king can take away titles to just to make it look like he can. But already Parliament is there. If you go into parliamentary petitions, remove Prince Harry's titles, you will see this petition was rejected, and I posted it many times because when it comes to honors, royal titles, styles, and dignities, it's up to the monarch. At that time, it was up to Her Majesty the Queen, and all it takes is a letters patent.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they haven't done it, but people can ask Parliament to legislate that even too, because it's a constitutional monarchy. It's not an absolute monarchy.
Mm-hmm. But then, you know, you're not. I just, being born in Britain and watching the royal family, they will just see all of that is far too much hassle. They're not going to want the backlash. Their whole brand is the royal family. Like I said, Charles is renowned, you know, even through school. He's not the most strongest of, you know, characters. He likes to talk to his plants. And for whatever Harry says, he did adore his boys, and he is not going to take that away. Even if it's in Diana's, you know, he is not going to take that away.
But then Parliament should step in. But the thing is that, you know, this is that people don't understand. He can tell him, I'm not going to take away your prince title. You just like the HRH. We're not going to take it away, but you just can't use it in public and remove it from the royal website because you're not a working royal.
Yeah.
So, but you know, just like the HRH was not removed. It's just they can't use it in public.
Yeah.
So he can do the very same thing about all titles.
Yeah.
And say, you know what? He won't stop being his son. Look what Queen Margaret of Denmark did. She removed the prince titles from her grandkids, saying, "I'm not going to leave this burden to my son. You know, the next, you know, the crown prince." So she removed the titles because the kids are modeling. They don't even live in Denmark, and Queen Margareta has such heavy ovaries, and she removed the titles. She says, "You're no longer prince or princess. You're lady and lord. That's it."
Yeah.
Oh, they were upset, you know, because she was thinking of the monarchy, you know, and that was a great move. And, you know, the backlash was from the kids that lost their titles, but the public was really happy.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree with you. And most people, someone said, I just don't understand why the British put up with this. I suppose it's just, it's hard, isn't it? I just don't feel like we've got that. I feel like if William was in power, William would do that. I do believe that wholeheartedly. If William was in power now, he would act like the Queen would in this situation. I just feel like I don't know. He's extremely popular in Denmark. I think Charles has just got to this point. He's waited all his life to be king. He's got there, and he had to obviously face losing his mom in order to be king. Then he's had his son doing this, and he's just taken it. You know, he's doing his bit, and he's being really late. Well, I don't know. To be honest with you, that's not. I haven't got the answers, to be honest.
No, but my point for all of this, and the thing is,
the Queen did always put them
what it does to the victims of people like that who are allowed and empowered to continue abusing and putting out the narrative. The royal family can defend themselves. They're billionaires. They have a whole shit of press. You know, they can access any press. But people like Harry, Meghan, like Markles or anybody who speaks out against them, you know, they're canceled. They're ridiculed. They're abused. They're bullied. They don't get to work because their reputation is so trash. Samantha's a disabled lady, guys, and she has had to move 4 times due to death threats, and the police, nobody will help her. Okay, she's lost job opportunities. The books that she's launched, everybody has ridiculed them, and she's being portrayed as this evil sister. And poor little Meghan, and you know that doesn't go away. She's still getting death threats. You know, she's still being, and nobody. So how do you think that? Do you
well, I know what, you know, I don't know what it's like to be her. I couldn't even imagine facing what they faced and watch all that roll out. But sadly, you have wrongs and rights. You have good v bad. And she's a victim. You have victims. You have people that commit wrongs. And all I'd say is people are out here and standing up and saying what they think, but we haven't got the power to you know, I just don't know how you can change a family. I just know from what I think, Charles ain't gonna want the hassle and the comeback and the backlash, because you will have all these people that put Harry and Meghan on a pedestal absolutely going, and that's that he wants to just sit pretty on his throne and not deal with the shit, if I'm honest. You can see that, you know, otherwise he would have done something by now. He would have done more. But he's just taken the easier route, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
but this is why this parliament, and this is why I urge people to start a petition for parliament demanding that the use of royal titles be legislated, because it's a constitutional monarchy. And it's clear that parliament has failed, because parliament is the rod that keeps the royals decent and in place to follow the rules that are already there. But instead, very quietly, they have been working behind the scenes to remove all the rules that would keep them behaving correctly. Duchess Sarah Ferguson should have been in jail at least 2 years when she was caught on that video selling access to Andrew.
Mm-hmm.
That is a crime in the United Kingdom. And Andrew was a senior working member of the royal family.
Mm-hmm.
And she was caught asking for £500,000 so you can get access like that to Andrew, and he will make everything happen. And then he had to deny. And you know what? It gives me the vibes, but I have a feeling that they've done it many times. They just got caught. And the reason why these journalists were able to do that is because word had gotten around that was happening.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how they caught her, because apparently she'd been doing it for quite some time. So word got around.
Yeah.
You know, Andrew sold that decrepit old house from a Kashkan warlord, or whatever you want to call it, bought that decrepit house, that huge mansion the Queen had given them, for £3 million over the asking price. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
You know, so you have all those things that have been happening like crazy, and things escalate, and Parliament sits and does nothing because everybody's corrupt in Parliament. You know, in Parliament, and like in the times of Winston Churchill or the others, you know, when they said to the Duke of Windsor, no, either if you want to marry this woman, you have to abdicate. It's either or. To Princess Margaret, if you want to do this, it's either or. You know, and there is no, you know, there's nothing like that. They removed the law that the Home Secretary had to be present in order to verify that the child came out of the body of the mother. And then, you know, it's just, and this is why we have Meghan Markle with phantom children who are in the line of succession with titles.
But isn't that a show to where we are in the world? Just that whole, you know, people like Meghan, people like Amber Heard using this whole, when you've got a man in such power, in how they will use that, when she turned out she was the one who, like, how do you combat a family with such power who's not going to want to take those titles away from Harry? Like, the people haven't got a voice there. My opinion has changed.
People do actually. This is the great thing with abusive people. They make you feel, you know this, they make you feel powerless.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But do you remember that when you were a kid and you felt that you had no choice because you felt you had no power, knowing what you know now, and that now that you're an adult?
To be honest with you, my earliest memory was 3 years old, so I never had power to begin with to lose. So I just think, you know, when you grow up in abuse and when you're sort of pretty much born into it, you don't even notice. That's just what you know. But I suppose I felt powerless in moments of time when the neighbours were looking on and you didn't know what to do, and it was down to you to go and get help. And the fear, yeah, it's horrible. It's no worse feeling when you're powerless. And I can understand the frustration. My heart broke when I see Samantha's text last night. I just don't. The reality is that's why I do the aftermath, because there are so many people damaged from people that abuse their power. That's me doing the level that I can do. You know, that's me trying to change it for people, because the aftermath of abuse, like Samantha, Thomas, Markle Jr., Thomas, what they're facing now, it's always going to be there for them, that hurt, that pain. But for them, it's rolled out. Like you with the newspapers, 10 years later, you know, they're still there on the internet. My sister, 27 years later, she goes for a job. She's worried if they Google her name, all these headlines, which are, you know, misrepresented of her. But the aftermath, that there are so many victims out there of this abuse of power. That's why we're here. That's why I'm speaking to you now. you know, and there's only so much, you know.
We can do a lot. And this is a great way to, today I was supposed to be flying to Norway, but there was some stuff with because I have to still go to Norway for stuff. It's been almost 3 years now. My lawyer hasn't submitted one document that he needs to submit. So I have to travel to Norway because why not? I have to go do it because I shouldn't have to travel to Norway to do this, but I still have to do it because if I don't, they don't care. It's like, okay, that's done, but it's something that is very frustrating. And like, the great thing about this, Tina, is that, and I think why I was so drawn to you is because I love that you have found a platform that you were able to now voice your concerns, to say, this happened to me. You're not shamed by it. You're not defined by it. But even though yours was not like in the public sight, but the feelings of being victimized, they don't go away. For me, they don't. When I look at people and I see what's happening to them, it just, I feel, wow, how can I help? Because I remember nobody helped me. Nobody's helping me. I'm still fighting everything on my own. Nobody comes and says, hey, Paula, how can we help you fight this? Nobody. I'm still fighting it on my own, so it's kind of like, I mean, you're a grown-up woman right now, and the signs of, domestic violence and stuff like that. I mean, if you recognize those signs, what would you do when you see them? Would you leave that happen, or what would your first instinct be?
In what context? People in the
For
street,
example,
neighbors?
if you know that there's some sort of domestic violence or violence towards a child or something like that ongoing, and that you are aware.
I would absolutely report it and do all I can to help that situation. And I wouldn't stop thinking about that situation. It would mar my mind, it would, on a loop, sort of knowing someone's there suffering in that way, even, down to what we've seen rolled out. You can't let it drop knowing there's someone suffering. I messaged you last night on that WhatsApp where I was like, oh my God, that's her. And to see, I couldn't stop thinking about it. And this is the thing when you go through abuse, like you, and watching this, you can't let it go because people are hurting. So if I was to see a situation, a child, say a friend of one of my kids, knowing they're living that life, I would do all I can, but I also would not sleep at night knowing until that's dealt with and sorted, So
there are things we can do. I mean, look at what happened to Johnny Depp. This is a man who had the means to do a lot, and his career was destroyed. I mean, he's slowly rebuilding it, but he still gets the question, or people still don't believe, now did you see the Johnny Depp versus Heard, and Netflix look like it is because of social media, is that Amber lost? It's not really because it's innocent.
Well, I refuse to watch it, for one, because she won the other foot, and if that was him proven guilty, you would not have that show on a loop to protect the victim, as in the female victim. Johnny Depp is having to build his career back, and the minute that court case ended, after everyone hearing what we all heard, that should have been, his move is back. He should have been absolutely vindicated. But even though we and the people see it, and there's a mass understanding by listening to that audio that he was the victim in that situation, it's still a grey area. No one wants to play with that. No one wants to touch that. That person is tarnished. But one thing I would say about Johnny Depp is the fact that since all that's happened, he has understood that Hollywood, that all of that, he's aligned with the people, his family, as they call it. And the one thing about the aftermath and what I do, and I know you just said that you're facing it all alone and you're having to do this. I don't know if that's really bad, but the aftermath for me was that realization that this is down to me. You know, when I was going through that at 10 years old, I found my granddad's grave. I went searching a cemetery at 10 years old to find my dead granddad's grave of my biological dad, who wasn't there for me, to go and find a bit of hope. You know, there's not always someone there for you. I'm going to get emotional. But
Oh, I didn't
it's
mean to make
done.
that.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
No,
This
it's
is the
down to
reality.
me, but
No,
I
but
know,
this.
I know it's down to me, but what I'm saying is like, it's
No,
hard.
I'm not saying it's not down to you. I'm just saying when you get that understanding and that ownership, if that was fucked up for me, that was wrong. But you know, it's shit. Some people get screwed up and it's not their fault, and that's why I do the aftermath, because I know what people face, and that's me doing something to try and change that. So anyone that's stuck in that aftermath of domestic violence, you know, what I would really like was when people leave a woman's refuge, or they get out of abuse, or children that go out of abuse, for them to understand that there's a next step here which is going to leave you vulnerable, like my sister, who fled into the arms of an absolute psychopath. You know, both me and my sister, my brothers, sent down. We were just all so damaged, trying to face life, making our own decisions. The regime was gone. We were free and very vulnerable to the world. And it leads to yet another failing of yourself, with all the self-hate that they inflict on you, and that worth it just grows and grows, you know. And yeah, that's why I do the aftermath, so people can understand this mindset in the way we think and the way we hate on ourselves.
You saw that from Samantha. You saw that, guys, we're talking about, because Tina was shocked yesterday. We're in a chat group with Samantha Markle, and she asked me, is that Samantha Markle who wrote those messages? And we're like, yeah, that's her. And she's like, oh, wow, because you guys have no idea what these people, what they go through. The hatred.
I picked up my phone and I read this message, and I read it again, and I went, firstly, heartbroken. Whoever this was, because I've been added to this WhatsApp group, and then I read it again and I went, fucking hell, that's Samantha Markle. Without even knowing, you know, I just what she was saying about her dad, and I rang Paula and I was like, is that Samantha Markle? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, this is awful. And I messaged you going, there must be something we can do. But at the same time, I don't know what, you know, even if you were to get, how?
Well, she can use all of our
platforms.
You saw what Dinah wrote to her. Dinah said, we got your back. I mean,
yeah.
Not big
but
news.
I don't even know her. And I messaged back straight away going, oh, she don't know me. But then I was paranoid. The overthinking starts to get, I bet she was thinking, who are you? Like, and then I was like, if I made her paranoid, this is the overthinking starts. And then I'm from Great Britain, so I bet she bloody hates me. I was just like, oh my God, just stop.
No.
Then I put a post. Then I shared a post of which I wrote a poem, about her dad. Then I thought, no, because then that might be upsetting for her. So I deleted that, and I was like, just stay away from the WhatsApp group, you know. But it is devastating, and that's what I put a post up today on YouTube about the realities of what they go through, and that was inspired by that message last night, because it was a hard read, you know. And that's the reality, and that's why I put that post up. These are people. It may be this circus that Harry and Meghan have created, and they're all characters and easy to use and do for interviews to get the goss. But these are people that are there day after day in this goldfish bowl, exposed with no protection. And that's awful. That one child, one daughter, one sister, because they are sisters. Whether there's an age gap or not, you know, there's an 11-year age gap between all my sisters and brothers we share the same mom, but different dad. But I'd never just disregard them like that and refer to myself being as the only child. No way.
And you know, for people who don't understand this, let me tell you something. What's coming for Harry, he's earned it, because we have been seeing this for quite some time. I'll show you this, guys. Prince Harry may reportedly feel jealous of Meghan Markle's success, just like Charles used to feel jealous of Diana, because that's the narrative starting up. You know what I mean, guys? That's the narrative starting up right now. Sorry, you know, look at beautiful Princess Catherine there. But there we have here, you know, Meghan warned political career could strain marriage with Harry. You know what I mean? And we're starting to get all these things. There's Meghan Small, you know, I'm going to do live there. But there's all these things, you know, that you have about Meghan Markle, like how she loves him, how everything is wonderful. I have it here. And now how supposedly Amber Heard is finished, you know, how supposedly she's such a success, you know, how everything is, it's wonderful. How Cristiano, I love you. How, you know, it's something that people, when it comes for Harry, it'll be like Jada Pinkett Smith.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, and
well,
I'm
that to me, I read that, and you see it's the cogs burn, and it's an overdrive to place her this narrative, this illusion that she's going to be this great success and he's going to be jealous. And the reality is, most people looking on, from my opinion, they are pissed at Harry. They are furious with him. A lot can see the change in character, and people just have no respect for her. So I can't see how this future bright career, yes, people are humoring it for their own agenda, but like you just said, Amber Heard, where is she now? You know, there's only so much you can carry on with this charade. And yes, they got the royal links, but still only with that. You know, I think they're on a fine line now where there's any more. You know, the people don't. People powerless because they've been ignored by their. Well, that's that's the thing in Britain. Our parliament is a mess. There's no respect for any of it. You know, like in America, what power do the people actually have? It's you don't, do you? And that's why stuff like social media, us doing this now, platforms, people are able to convey their voices. So in a way, can you imagine a world of no social media and all this going down, in how silenced Samantha? I know they've experienced the hate, but that's the thing with social media. It brings good and it brings bad. But Thomas, Markle, Samantha, they are getting that, at least that support off a lot as well. I don't think this.
Yeah, I mean, it
yeah,
is.
it's covered up.
It is, you know, it is.
What power does any person have? Just a working 9 till 5 in this? Yes, you can apply.
You know what? I am actually trying to look for that cartoon. I saw it once. It hit me home so hard. I've been looking for it, but I haven't been able to find it. It's a bunch of people, right? It's a cartoon, but you see like a bunch of people, and they're holding this platform. And on the platform, there's 2 or 3 people standing or sitting comfortably, right? Mm-hmm. And then suddenly you see the people at the bottom start to leave, and you see the platform crumbling.
Okay.
It's basically a few on top. But what we don't understand is that there's strength in numbers. You know, they managed to cancel Yankee Wally, who's a lovely little lady from Wales who lives with her cats, you know. They managed to cancel her for her opinions.
I see Fiona's post about Wally, and I'm new to all of this. I've only just come to YouTube, and that was devastating.
This is a little old lady from Wales who had a little channel, giving her opinions really funnily. She never swore. or anything like that. And Bosie and Meghan Markle and Omid Scobie and all those people had her shut down. This little old lady from Wales. So for me, it's like people say, why? I didn't start this channel because, I started because I saw something that was wrong, and I wanted to correct it. I didn't think anybody would hear me. I'm happy, like I got some people to hear me, but it was with the intention to do something. And the idea is that for people to know that you can always do something, that there's strength in numbers, and what the people who are on the top want you to think, and that you can't do anything. Parliament, you have a vote. Don't vote for the person. You didn't do that thing for me. I'm not voting for you. You should see how they come promising you whenever it's voting time.
Oh yeah, no, the people see through that. But I think, more so nowadays, the parliament, government, no matter where you are, it don't seem to matter what the people say. They sort of navigate it in a way that suits them anyway. I think since COVID and lockdowns and stuff, that they're not even pretending to care anymore. We see that with the heating crisis. They could have done so much to support the people, but they simply chose not to. They simply chose to support the rich and make the rich richer. The people, like I said, don't want to look and watch cribs in the celebrity homes anymore because they're too busy trying to save their own, because they can't afford to live. They're busy working 9 till 5 round the clock, passing ships with husbands and wives. Young ones can't even get on the housing market. This is the reality that the people are in. And as much as we can all stand together and fight, for me personally, I feel like the people that support Harry and Meghan and the levels they will go to with Wally, etc. I would rather have class standing by me. And from what I see, the majority who support the Markles, you will find no bullying, no severe nastiness. And I would rather sit on that side than, I don't know. That's just my, I just think people are pretty much broken, and that's why people get sick of this charade of let's pretend that that's not happening when we've just watched it in front of our eyes. And that's why the people do what they can and come out and speak up.
I mean, how do you see, for example, let me show you this here. I'm going to show you this. This is a Daily Fail.
Daily Mail.
I call it Daily Fail. Harry and Meghan have been in New York promoting mental health, yet their personal attacks on the royal family are disgraceful, writes Richard Eden. What about William and Kate's mental well-being?
Yeah.
I mean, look at Harry and Meghan sitting on that stage there. For us, the priority is here to turn to a platform for these parents to come together. Where are the parents?
Oh, absolutely. No, neither did I.
Did you see the parents?
The one parent I did see, Meghan was like rugby tackling Harry out the way to get in there first.
And she got the photo that she wanted. So it's a platform for these parents to come. So solution. What are they talking about? But they are on that platform. Look at them. And Harry's an idiot. I don't know if he was high or what the hell was going on there, but he was allowed to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, look at Oprah. And now we have crucial words of advice Harry gave Meghan before she met the Queen. I mean, this witch had already taken a course on how to have tea with the Queen.
Yeah.
But these lies are allowed to stand, and I don't understand that.
But what do they stand? But what do they stand for? That's the reality. Yes, it's frustrating seeing them on a stage, but the people, and I know they're being This is what the rich and the elite do. They all applaud one another. They're all there. But where's Serena Williams now? Where's Ellen DeGeneres? Where's Oprah? They're there for the rise and they're never there for the fall. The people will be there in Thomas Markle's, Samantha Markle's corner for the rise, well, for the fall and hopefully the rise. And that's all in, you know, that they've got the backing of the good ones, because I always believe that truth will always prevail, and
Oh God, yes.
as much as that's hard work, and it's like you said, Samantha Markle, Thomas Markle, they never had the press support. They have been placed into an abyss, which we, you know, and the reality is because Meghan was just an actress, you know, that could have happened to anyone.
We got to stress she's a bad actress, by the way.
Yeah. Yes. But I swear to God, a lot of people that adore her adore Rachel Zane. You know, this character.
I didn't even know who she was.
Yeah,
Markle makes me sick to think how that sort was able to penetrate the royal family. She's so smug. That little trip.
but that's the thing, though. You know, this is not just a little bit. This has been going on and on and on, and it is draining watching on. And I've not got no direct links. I see that message last night. I see the direct link in the pain that they are in. So this is real life, real time. You know, I done a post about EastEnders, real life, real time, in like the soaps, EastEnders in the UK. You know, the reality is this is the messed up thing. At Christmas Day, every Christmas Day in the UK, we watch EastEnders, this soap. All year they build up this story, and every Christmas Day there's a disaster. About 8 people die, right? We all sit and watch it every Christmas Day, and we can sort of, I think it's so we appreciate our family. We watch these devastating scenes, but this is where Harry missed the mark, because every day on Christmas Day we tune in to watch the Queen. That's what we've done for years, you know. But he created his own soap opera, but it was real time, real lives, real pain. And that's when the people sort of, no, don't think so. You know, there's connections that EastEnders, we could, you know, you can deject it, but not when we know the Queen has lay there and had to suffer that. Philip, Thomas Markle. And it is frustrating to see them on a stage, and it's even more frustrating. Amber Heard, you know, even when Johnny Depp in that court case, that's why I'm here today, because I was just like, I don't think so. Found my voice and off I went. To watch on, as even in that, he was still getting bad headlines. There was still this narrative, but the people did fight strong, and in the end, they did start to turn. But then Harry and Meghan, the royal family, it's a power bigger than it's.
Because they have the backing of the royal family.
Yes. Yeah.
They have the backing of the royal family. Yeah. You know, for example, if Disney hadn't fired Johnny Depp, or nobody would have fired Johnny Depp, people wouldn't have believed Amber Heard, because they would have said these big companies would have fired Johnny Depp had this been true, because that would have been the message we get, right?
Yeah. But Disney went, no, I'm not touching that.
Not only Disney, a bunch of companies, nobody wanted, we couldn't get a job. So for example, and this is where I wanted to round it up, because everybody fired Johnny Depp. Mm-hmm. Everybody believed Amber Heard, because otherwise these big companies wouldn't be firing Johnny Depp, except Dior, which is why I only buy Dior whenever I can afford it. You know,
so, my husband had a bottle too.
Yeah. So, but this is the thing with Harry and Meghan Markle, because people say if they were in the wrong, surely the royal family would not have them on the website, because they're causing so much moral damage, physical stress. You know, especially Prince William talking about mental health, the importance of family, while allowing Harry and Meghan and allowing them to be part of the monarchy's website. Because otherwise, if the monarch said, you know what, let's remove him from the website, not because out of spite, but they're no longer working royals.
No, to be honest with you, it's an easy thing to do.
It's a click of a
and
mouse.
it's justified. It's justified because they're left, they're over there, they're not a part, they're not. But the royal family, Charles, whoever is chose, they don't want the hassle. They don't want the comeback, and maybe they're scared. Maybe there is more. I don't know, but they just not want the hassle. That's the royal family. They don't want to feed him or her, should I say.
But they won't actually, because it'll be on Apple for a little bit, just like the Queen of Denmark. But then the people were like, like,
no, the people would be happy for him to do that. But maybe this is where the royal family, they are so dejected. Maybe, possibly, my opinion. How could they ever understand that real feeling that you feel about watching this? They live a complete different lifestyle. They just want to sit pretty, I suppose, and protect the royal family name. That's their job. That's what they have to do.
Yeah, well, their job is to protect the monarchy. The royal family is completely different. Their job is to protect the monarchy. But now it's become the other way around. They're using the monarchy to protect their names from all this skanky stuff they're doing, which is different.
But then I do think they possibly could enter into dangerous waters with this, where, well, they probably already have, where people are starting to question the monarchy. Let's be honest with you, Charles taking that on was dodgy ground anyway. He wasn't exactly the favourite. People wanted William. People can't wait for William to be king. So Charles don't want to rock the boat. And it's already been rocked so much anyway. At the moment, Charles has come out of this with more support than he ever had before because of Harry and Meghan and what they've done. So he doesn't want to rock the boat anymore, and he doesn't want to give any more victimhood, I should imagine. For him, it's just a statement on that he doesn't understand, maybe, or maybe he wants to protect Harry financially, and that's something that Charles is going to have to, like the Queen said, what would the Queen do? I've said it before in a post. Charles needs to ask himself, what would the King do? I can try and do an emotive post to King Charles. But I don't think he'd listen, to be honest.
Well, the thing is, he's always been also very entitled. He's always done whatever he wanted, So, but the thing is, the point of this that I want us to end with, in a good note, is that first of all, there's many positive things to social media when we're not canceled nor censored nor anything like that. And is that we get to speak our minds. I mean, I'm a crazy lady from a Canadian lady, Norway, Canada, whatever you want to call it. And I have these beautiful followers who follow me and share my opinion. Sometimes we agree to disagree, so, but we always do it, in a way that it's okay to agree to disagree in certain things. But the main thing is that we should all be aiming to call out what's wrong. Because for people who are victimized or who are in the situation of disadvantage, the bitch of it all is when you feel that you don't have anybody in your corner, nobody's listening to you. So this is I mean, for Samantha, for Tom, and Mr. Markle, and many others, if you ever been victimized or anything, please feel free to send me an email. If you want to come on my platform, I'm more than happy you can use it, because I know how it feels when nobody listens. Nobody still listens to me, but when nobody listens to you, it's and you feel that you have to prove yourself over and over. It's like, I don't know about you, but it's like, I don't know how it was.
Can you imagine, right? All my life like that. I've married, husband, kids, whatever. Never really thought my opinion, my voice, didn't even know I could speak like this or tap in, or I always knew I understood how to read a room, but that also was triggering for me because I didn't really quite. I came out speaking, and I, like you, have this wonderful community that is slowly, organically growing of survivors, and how amazing that feels, like you, to be able to help and support. And it's social media brings a lot of dark, but it brings a lot of power too. And like I said, I'll end it with, you know, with Amber Heard, you know, where is she now? And I know they're hanging on to whatever they can, but out of anyone, I think I'd like the respect of the people, because they're the ones that put you where you are. Yes, they can use their advantage and sit on stages with cream sofas, but people that are meant to be influenced by them, if they don't want to be, they won't be. You need the respect of the people. Yes, you can all tap each other on the back and you're amazing, other rich people, but that's only short-lived. And no one can right now can take the Markles' pain away, but I hope they see that there are a lot of people speaking out for them and who see them as well, just like we see the wrongs that they have done. But I'm not you. I've just got my opinions. This is how I feel. It's my observations, you know.
Yeah, I now know I respect them. I think you are incredible. I really, you have no idea how happy I am, you know, that you're in my life today, and how grateful I am that you share your time and you're giving your opinions, even if we disagree on certain things. But it's great that we disagree, because then, you know, we get to debate on things. So,
Yeah.
but the bottom line of it all is that we should be kinder. And I don't want to sound like fucking Mayor Markle, but we should really be kinder to people. And people, we should, you know, especially the younger generation, have forgotten the art of debate, of this, you know, respectful disagreeing, but talking about it, which is fun, you know, when you have a debate instead of shouting and yelling at each other. And also that we have to support each other. We have to, you know, it's like you know, I give the Sugars a lot of that, because they do support each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Sussex Squad, you're going to start getting death threats and stuff like that. That's part of the course, you know, and they will try to dox you. They will try to do everything. It's part of the course, you know. But the idea of it all is that we can do something. You can always overcome it, you know, and we have to think of the people who are being affected. Look at you, how emotional you got, because it still gets to you, in spite of the fact that you're living your life, you know, you're a grown up and you're happily married, you have kids, you know, and you have a job, you're not in that situation. It still affects you.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't leave you, that aftermath, you know. And as you say, you get angry with things, right? When we probably, people think, why should you get so angry, you know, what's wrong with
Yeah,
that?
why are you so passionate? It's got nothing to do with it. You feel it, you know, you feel other people's pain, let down, rejection. You get it, you understand it. That was you, you know. So I totally, you know, and I respect a balanced debate, like you said. It's not, you got to bring balance in. That's how I do me. So I look for that in other people, you know. And let's be honest with you, I think a lot of us too. And when you see Harry and Meghan, it's like it's tipped so much. There's no balance with their actions, behaviors, and it's just alarm bells for most, let alone people who've been through abuse. And you watch this roll out in the people they've hurt. It seems to be endless, and you know, and it is. I think more so now when you've got the likes of AHMM using this stage across all the young people looking on and thinking that's the way to treat people. That's scary.
Yeah, and I mean, can you imagine? I mean, and this came very late in the life of Mr. Markle and Samantha Markle, who, you know, they're older. Mr. Markle is an elderly man who's had 2 heart attacks and a stroke. And Samantha Markle has advanced MS. She's in a wheelchair, you know, and it's so people should be kinder. I mean, I'm glad that you got to read that thing, and you know that you're part of the chat group, because now you can see the pain and understand it, you know, and
I see it anyway. I felt it anyway. I've seen many interviews. I've posted on it, and how, you know, the one thing when you've been through abuse, you understand, you read a room. I know what's genuine, what's not. I look for Where any interview I see Samantha Markle do, it's fluent, it's honest, there's no added glitter, no added sparkle, it's from the heart. It's there's no dramatics, it's just truth pouring out of her mouth. Truth I can relate to, heart I can relate to. And anyone in this chat today, fibro warriors, you know, I'm 62, still triggered by abuse. I bet she sees the same and feels the same, because the reality is, once you've been through abuse, you're all carbon cutouts of one another. You know how to read a room, to understand risk, threat, bads, good people. Once you get rid of the black smoke of not believing in yourself as well.
And the great thing about this is that we have this platform here. You can use my small platform, guys. You know, I'm more than happy to do that. And I'm so grateful to all of you. You know, I'm so grateful to all of you who come and listen to me. And, you know, I'm grateful for all your support, you know, and I hope you always feel that you have a place to come here. And, you know, sometimes I'm crazy. Sometimes I talk about crazy stuff, and, you know, we make fun of things, and, you know, but sometimes it's good to touch upon real things, because at the end of the day, we're talking about real human beings here who are being every day.
Yeah.
And we can't let that get away. You know, Megan Small's channel was demonetized.
Yeah.
You know, like, I mean, and then Tomiyaki channel was demonetized, you know, I mean, for speaking out. And it's it is, you know, it is for people who are listening, that it's that we're being censored while Harry and Meghan are allowed to speak the same lie, cause chaos around the world. You know, it's an insane thing.
I think it's, you know, the thing is, I've learned in life is bad shit can happen to good people, you know, and there's no rhyme or reason for that. And this is why we seek justice. You've been there, Paula. I have. My community have. You know, I see people comment after comment on any post I do with how you just seek that justice. We'll fight for anyone else. We struggle to fight for ourselves, but we will call out wrongs when we see it. And Paula, I couldn't thank you enough for letting me use your platform, having me on your lives. You know, I think the content you do is great. Obviously, my main focus and topic is the aftermath.
Yeah.
But obviously, an extension of that is calling out a wrong when I see it, especially, you know, my connections to just being able to read a room like we do. And that, again, is awareness for domestic abuse, because it helps people, I hope, a lot of the women and men in my community understand their abilities that they gained from that dark place, in the fact that actually, don't fall into that trap. Don't repeat that cycle, because you do have those abilities to really understand if people are genuine and not, you know. So it's about helping them to work on themselves too.
Yeah, no, but you're amazing. And the, part of the aftermath too is to understanding why that aftermath is happening, why people are behaving afterwards, you know, or you know, because we have to look what brought these people to that situation and why they are going through that aftermath, you know, and help them handle it in a way, being compassionate, giving them tools, you know, whatever it is. And this is why I love your channel. I you know, I'm so drawn to you, you know. So instead, I'm very humbled that you're here and sharing your you know, sharing here, coming here. It's I'm very, very happy, and you have no idea how, you know, how, yeah, how honored I feel that you're here and sharing your stuff, because it's very brave what you do, because you, when people see you, people can see that they can come out the other way. And we can, you can, by sharing, you know, what you can do, for example, sharing, go to a shelter. If you see some sort of something that's not right, call it out, because like Ina said, it would have probably made a huge difference had somebody actually, one person even, you know, done something. Maybe you would have felt more worthwhile. Or, you know, that you matter, that your voice matter, that you matter as a human being or as a child.
Yeah.
You know? And I'm
It's
so
the sad reality is you're never going to stop domestic violence and domestic abuse. There will always be a narcissist out there who wants to take advantage. And, you know, these people are doing their life and someone steps in the way, tells them it's all going to be okay. And before they know it, they are stripped back and they can't get out. They're stuck.
yeah, but there's always a way out. There's always a way out if we always find somebody. What you know, I want the advice to be here that if you see
There's
something,
absolutely a way out. Yeah. My
no,
mum
but
got out, you know, people do get out. So I see in the refuge, and anyone who's scared to leave, they're scared to take their kids out of their home and start afresh, and that fear. Honestly, I can't explain for a child who it was the best night's sleep I ever had in my life in 14 years, being in that refuge. I didn't care about being homeless. I had nothing, but I had everything in the same moment, you know. And I wrote that in my book, you know. It was something else. And children don't care when they live in abuse. They just want you to be safe.
they just want
And
to
then
feel safe no matter where they are.
yeah, absolutely, you know. So if you're in it and you're holding on because you don't want to disrupt your kid's life anymore, or you're going to lose your house, or you're going to have to change their school, and there's always a reason. No, they don't care. They just want to see you safe and they want to feel safe. That's it.
Yeah, and you know, some people say that Harry stuck with Meghan because of the children. And I mean, well, because of the children, he should get away from a woman like Meghan Markle. Because Meghan Markle clearly is not a role model of motherhood or any family values or any morals of any sort. How can she impart any family values when she has completely alienated those children from all sides of the family except with that crooked Doria, you know? So, I mean, for people who say that, well, he's with her because of the kids. Clearly, neither of them care of the kids because they're traveling all over the place without very young children.
Yeah.
You know, so because I get a lot of those comments, I wanted to say that, you know, you don't stay in a relationship, especially Prince Harry, you know, so it's terrible.
The thing is, though, it took my mom 14 years, and there is a reality in, I hope by having these conversations more, that it would encourage people more to act sooner, to be more aware, you know, awareness and understanding. But 14 years of watching all sorts and going through all sorts. And that's, again, the aftermath to what parents go through. They're in the aftermath of that guilt of putting their kids through that, and not understanding with that guilt that they were a victim too. They couldn't help that, you know. They were stuck too. But this is the aftermath as a whole, you know, parents not being able to speak to their children who went for abuse, and children not, because they don't want to trigger each other, and they all go in their journeys, their own separate ways, and become more isolated in the aftermath because they're facing it alone in silence, because domestic violence does bring silence, you know. So, but as for Harry, yeah, but, you know, and I would say he's still sat on that stage right now. He's partaking in this, and he will have to face his own aftermath of the decisions he makes, you know, in this process, just like a lot of my community as parents do. It's a reality.
It's actually pretty. I hope he has a very bad aftermath. I don't wish him well, to tell you the truth, because of all the damage he has caused and has allowed others to cause to his own family, a dying grandmother, a dying grandfather, his brother, his sister-in-law, his nieces, everybody, his friends, everybody. He threw everybody under the bus, you know. So
And that we will agree on, because you know what, I you know, I've watched so many people face the aftermath who didn't ask for the aftermath, you know, who didn't sign contracts, who didn't take millions of pounds, who didn't do that. You know, my mom left 14 years when her mom was dying on her deathbed and asked her to go. So I would agree with you. I wouldn't wish the aftermath, because it is something else. But it's hard.
We'll see what happens. But anyways, thanks for joining today. I have
Thank
to go,
you.
guys. But and thanks for you, because I know it's very late over there. Do go subscribe to Tina and the Aftermath and on her YouTube channel, please.
I would say the same. I would say the same back to Paula, but I think you all know Paula by now. Go and sign up to Paula. Oh yeah, you all know her.
No. Please
But
do.
if you don't, Paula's amazing.
No, but thanks anyways. But sign up to Tina, please, because I love, because your insights on Harry Meghan Markle situation are very, very good, because they are from a point of
well, it's just understanding and reading between the lines, understanding a fake smile, which people, I'm not saying that she's anything, we just understand good v bad, and that smile, which is not always presented, is presented in a way which we see beyond.
Yeah, but thanks so much for coming. Please go subscribe. So go subscribe. I mean, please, I'd be honored if you come here, and we should do more planned stuff, But thank you very much for coming, sweetie, and I'll talk to you later in our chat.
Okay. Bye. See ya. Bye everyone. Bye.